Running Club. I'm your head coach, Aaron Adranya, and this is your first communication for the summer season. So this is going to be a little bit funky because it's not quite the way that we ran the summer season in the past. But the good news is that we're going to keep you on top of your training so that when we are able to meet as a big group, you've not lost anything from a training perspective, and you'll still be able to hit all the major races that are coming up. So how is it all going to work? Well, the first time we're going to be starting off in this virtual capacity, just like this. You're going to be getting a video very similar to this on Mondays and on Fridays that's going to be talking about whatever we've got planned for that coming week. So that's going to fall under our phase 1 of our opening approach. Now, phase 2 is going to allow us to meet in small groups. So we're thinking between 10 and 15 at a time. And likely the way that this will work is that we'll actually break out, let's say the run walkers, the intermediate group, and the PR chasers into separate start times. So we never exceed that, that threshold of 10 to 15 people. Now, I want to make mention about this is that when we do start to open up in our small groups, it's important that you stick with whatever program you typically are aligned with. Because if everybody shows up at the intermediate program at the same time, unfortunately what that'll do is it'll shut us down completely, and we'll have to suspend our group meetings until we are able to meet in one large group capacity. So when that time frame comes, I realize that you may have friends and other people that you know in some of those other groups, but please stick within the program and the time that has been assigned to you. If you need to change or move to another program, it's not a big deal. We can definitely make those accommodations, but I want to get out of the habit where you can just kind of arbitrarily show up wherever you want, because what I don't want to end up doing is having the club shut down completely. And my fear is that if the Rangers were to come out and see all of us there at one time, that may actually happen. So we want to get ahead of that. Again, staying with our subgroups. When we get out to the happy hour, we all congregate at a similar location. That's a different story because it seems like the regulations are slightly more loose as it relates to that. But again, we'll get more of this information out as it gets a little bit closer. But right now, again, we're starting with a virtual capacity. We'll move into small groups in phase 2, and then phase 3 will be that we'll all be able to meet in one large group like we used to do back in the day. But again, more information on that as the states and the counties start giving us more information. All right, so another thing I wanted to encourage you to do is take a look at the bottom of this post, and there are going to be a few more videos in there. Now, these videos are going to be really useful, especially for our newer runners that have never seen our schedules before or not familiar with how our program actually runs. Look through all this in a lot of detail. I think what you'll find is that it's really well organized and there's a lot of information there to be able to digest. But the problem is that it is a lot of information. And because of that, sometimes people stop reading only halfway through it. And it is important that you get a good handle on all the details that are in there. So with that, at minimum, please review this first video because it's going to tell you a lot more on how to take a look at the schedule, how to talk about where to find parking when we go to our separate locations, and some of the other elements that are related to our runs. So more on that a little bit later, but before next week, take a look at this video. I think it's about 25 minutes in length. I know it's a little bit on the longer side, but if you're a new runner, you're going to find this information very, very helpful. Another big announcement that we have this week is that we have a new 5K and 10K training program. So this is our first year doing this, but the cool thing about it is now that there's a level of entry for no matter what your experience level is, how many races you've done or never have done before, there's a place for you within this club. And that really kind of speaks to the overall culture and community that I think Black Flag has to offer, is that there really is a place for everyone, no matter what the races that you're training for and what your level of experience is, there's a place for you here. So with that being said, I'm excited to announce that 5K and 10K training program. So if you're an alumni and you've been part of the club in the past, if you know anybody that was kind of intimidated by that half or full marathon training schedule, perhaps now would be the appropriate time to invite them back in to be part of the club. And again, I think we're all starting for a little bit of interpersonal communication. This is going to be the first place that's going to open back up where we will be able to start meeting a bunch of like-minded people. So extending that offer to you and to all of them. We'd love to have you be part of the Black Flag Running Club. Alrighty, so the last thing I just want to mention is if you have questions or comments, there's a couple ways that we can get those addressed for you. So you can send in an email to us at coach@blackflagrunningclub.com. You can post things on social media where we can get you responded to any of those locations as well. The last one I kind of want to mention is that those happy hours that are happening on Tuesday. We're kind of going to be utilizing those not only as a happy hour so we can get to know each other and hang out and do all that stuff, but also more of, we'll call it like runners office hours. So if you have any problems, concerns, issues, whatever they might be, this is going to be a really good location for us to be able to talk about those. Now, if you have a concern that you don't want to enter a public format, by all means, you can shoot us a message, and it may even be in that public format. If there's something that starts to get a little too personal or it's very technical in its delivery, we may set up a separate time to talk about that, but I think it's just a really good resource that not only myself, but some of the other alumni runners will be able to help guide you through those concerns that come up throughout the overall season. Alrighty, so that is all I have to share with you at this point in time. I'm so excited to have you be part of the club, so excited about the summer season. I know it's starting off a little bit funky with this virtual approach, but I do plan on seeing your faces before too terribly long. So until then, remember, stay connected, be safe, run strong, and I look forward to seeing you in week 1 and our first official run. Have a great week, guys.